Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 describes the contradiction of the entire human race as Arjuna. Arjuna was the greatest bow-wielding warrior of that period. Despite being such a great warrior, he was defeated by the impulses of his mind. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, there are verses mostly spoken by Arjuna. From chapter 2, Sri Krishna has started answering Arjuna's questions. We find ourselves fully connected to the way Arjuna has expressed his disappointment in the verses of chapter 1. By reading the verses of Arjuna, we get a thorough knowledge that the problems of the mind are all the time. Verses of Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. Let us now understand all the verses of Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 one by one and try to know the disappointment and discomfort of Arjun, who is scared of war. Verse 1. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavita Yuyotsava. Mamaka Pandavaschiva Kim Akurvata Sanjay. Meaning, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, gathered at holy land Kurukshetra, what did my and Pandu's sons wishing for war do? Explanation. The Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 starts with Dhritarashtra's words. Dhritarashtra was blind since birth and was the king of Hastinapur. Sanjay was the minister of his state. Dhritarashtra was worried that his sons, Kauravas, should not be killed in the battle after being defeated by the Pandavas. Sanjay had a boon that he could see the condition of the war directly with his divine eyes. That is why Dhritarashtra kept Sanjay with him to know the condition of the war and asked him this question. Verse 2. Sanjay Uvacha. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudham Duryodhanastada. Acharyam Upashangamya Raja Vachanam Ebravit. Meaning, Sanjay said, at that time, King Duryodhana saw the army of Pandavas and approached Dronacharya and said these words. Explanation. In this verse of Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, Duryodhana is addressed with the word king. The fear of Duryodhana is depicted here. Although Duryodhana was the king, he was a little scared to see the huge and efficient army of Pandavas. So he immediately went to his mentor and commander Dronacharya to describe the army of Pandavas. Note, Dronacharya was the mentor of both the Kauravas and the Pandavas, but he supported the Kauravas in this crusade. In this war of right and wrong, he supported the Kauravas. Verse 3. Pashitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamam. Vyudham Drupadaputrena Tava Shishena Dhimata. Meaning, hey teacher, look at this huge army of the sons of Pandu standing by your wise disciple Drishtadhyam, the son of Drupada. Explanation. Drishtadhyumna was the son of King Drupada. He learned the art of war from Dronacharya. Dronacharya, like an ideal master, had taught Drishtadhyumna all the skills of war. But now he was fighting on behalf of Pandavas in this war. In this verse, Duryodhana has criticized Dronacharya by calling Dritadhyum wise. Verse 4. Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayodhi. Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharit. Meaning, in this army, many brave bowmen fight like Bhima and Arjuna, such as the great fighter Yayodhan, Virat, and Drupada. Explanation. Although Drishtadhyumna was not an important deterrent to the great power of Dronacharya in warfare, there were many warriors whom Duryodhana feared. Duryodhana describes them as very obstructive in the path of victory because each of these warriors was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew Bhima and Arjuna's strength, that's why he compares others to these two. Verse 5. Drishtaketush Chekitana Kashirajascha Viryavan. Purujit Kuntibhojascha Shabyascha Narapungava. Meaning, along with them, there are also great powerful warriors like Drishaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kuntibhoja, and Shabya. Verse 6. Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamojascha Viryavan. Subhadro Draupade Ascha Sarva Eva Maharitha. Meaning, the mighty Yudhamanyu, the most powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the son of Draupadi, they are all great warriors. Verse 7. Asmakam tu Vishishta ye tan nibodha dvijottama. Naika mama sanyasya sanjna artham tan bravingte. Meaning, but O best of the Brahmanas. For your information, I would like to tell you about those captains of my army who are particularly adept at operating my army. Verse 8. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjaya. Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somdattis Tathevacha. Meaning, in my army, you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and Bhurishrava, son of Somadatta, have always been victorious in the war. Explanation. Duryodhana mentions unique warriors who have always been victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashravatthama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadati or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of Balikas. Karna is Arjuna's brother because he was born from Kunti's womb before being married to King Pandu. Verse 9. Anye cha bahava shura madarthe tyakta jivita. Nana shastra praharana sarv yuddha visharada. Meaning, there are other heroes who are willing to sacrifice their lives for me. They are equipped with a wide variety of weapons and are proficient in warfare. Explanation. As far as others, Jayadratha, Kritavarma, and Shalya are concerned, they were all ready to sacrifice their lives for Duryodhana. In other words, they will certainly be killed in the battle of Kurukshetra by joining the team of sinner Duryodhana. Of course, due to the combined strength of his friends, Duryodhana was hopeful for his victory. Verse 10. Aparyaptam tad asmakam balam bhishma abhirikshitam. Paryaptam ti vidam etesham balam bhima bhirikshitam. Meaning, our power is sufficient and we are all well protected by the grandfather, Bhishma, while the power of the Pandavas is limited even by being well preserved by Bhima. Explanation. Here Duryodhana has presented an estimate of comparative power. He thinks that the power of his armed forces is sufficient because of being specially protected by the most experienced general, Bhishma Pitama. On the other hand, the Pandavas' armies are limited as they are guarded by a less experienced general Bhima who is negligible compared to Bhishma. Duryodhana was always jealous of Bhima because he knew that even if he ever died, it would be through Bhima. Verse 11. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yathabhagam avasthita. Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu bhavanta sarva eva hai. Meaning, therefore, by standing on your fronts in the military view, you give full support to all Bhishma Pitama. Explanation. After praising the valor of Bhishma Pitama, Duryodhana thought that no other warriors should understand that he was being given less importance, so Duryodhana said the above words to handle the situation in his easy diplomatic manner. He forcefully said that Bhishma is undoubtedly the greatest warrior, but now that he is old, every soldier should take special care of their safety from all around. It may be that they are engaged in fighting in one direction and the enemy takes advantage of this busyness. Therefore, it is necessary that other warriors remain fixed on their positions on the fronts and do not let the enemy break the array. Verse 12. Tasya sanjanayan hasham kuru vriddha pitamaha. Simhanadam vinadi ochi shankam dadmau pratapavan. Meaning, then the supremely aged grandfather of the Kuru dynasty played his conch with a loud sound that sounded like a lion roar, which made Duryodhana happy. Explanation. The eldest father of the Kuru dynasty came to know the sentiment of his grandson Duryodhana, and with his natural kindness towards him, he shouted his conch with a very high tone which was in line with his lion-like condition. Indirectly, through the conch shell, he symbolically told his desperate grandson Duryodhana that he did not have the hope of victory in the war because the other side is Lord Krishna. Nevertheless, it was his duty to guide the war and he would not take any effort in this regard. Verse 13. Tata shankhaschcha bhairyascha panavanaka gomukha. Sahasaivabhyahanyanta sa shabdastyu malobhavat. Meaning, then the conch, the drum, the trumpet, the tabor and the horn sounded simultaneously. That chorus was very noisy. Verse 14. Tata shvete haya yukte mahati sayandam sthitao. Madhava pandavaschiva divyo shankhu pradadmacha. Meaning, on the other hand, Krishna and Arjuna, on a huge chariot pulled by white horses, played their divine conch shells. Explanation. The conch shells of Krishna and Arjuna are said to be divine as compared to the conch shell by Bhismadeva. Due to the sound of the divine conch shells, it was reported that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was in favor of the Pandavas. Victory always belongs to Pandavas as Lord Krishna is with him. So, as indicated by the divine sound produced by the conch of Vishnu or Lord Krishna, victory was waiting for Arjuna. In addition, the chariot in which the two friends were sedentary was provided by the god of fire to Arjuna, and it was being informed that wherever it would go in the three worlds, victory is certain.